Just give me 2 minutes. I'll start the session now. Please be online. Good evening. So yesterday we had a discussion on political economy. The one of the elective papers in the final year, which is the sixth semester. Yesterday I explained about the definition of political economy, how it is an important in the political science to understand the concept of political economy. Wherein that the first one, we have seen that international economic cooperation, North and North and South cooperation. We also understand some of the topics related to political economy, such as, IBRD, International Monetary Fund, UNCTAD, GATT, all those things. We had a discussions on particular things. Today we are going to discuss the topic, which is MNCs and globalization. You can go to the page number 29, where you can find the MNCs and the meaning of globalization. The first one is that, and I said all the time that how economy shows a kind of influence on a particular things. Similar, I've already told you many times in terms of, you know, a country's economy system will help to determine the country's status. So as globalizations has become a very important in the political science after 1990s, because the concept of the globalizations has become across the worldwide. Earlier, this was only confined to the few countries, but after 1990s, especially India was also become a part of this globalization. What does it mean in generally layman language? Globalization means interconnecting of economical system between one another country across the world. Interconnecting the economical and relations between the one another countries across the world is known as globalization. This could be a and a small meaning which you one can understand easily the meaning of globalization. Once again, I'll tell you the another meaning. Integration of one country's economy with other country's economy is called it as a globalization. What does it mean? Integration of one country's economy with the and another country's economy is known as a globalization. So these globalizations which has worked on particularly to that interconnecting between the one another countries, MNCs also. Similarly, the globalization since 1980s, modern globalization spread rapidly through the expansions of the capitalism and neoliberal strategies. The 1980s later, the spreading of globalization has become an utmost importance, where in order to determine the country's economical system full-fledgedly, because every country after 1980s was focuses on that to how to develop themselves. Earlier, the so many countries have focuses on their a kind of a benefit system and all of that, but as far as concerned to and after 1980s, they focus on economically appeasement. For that reason, what had happens then the concept of the globalization is used to describe growing and interdependence of the world's economics and cultures and populations and by crossing the borders. The term globalization gained popularity after the Cold War in the early 1990s. Through many scholars identify the origins of the globalizations in the history as such as the top globalization in recent in its current meaning and usage, you could understand that and how this has become. So, as in keeping in view of that, there are few definitions which have been and made it understand the meaning of a globalization. According to this, uh, 1999 United Nations Development Program, which is UNDP, defines the meaning of globalization as the growing interdependence of the world's people integrating not just the economy but culture, technology, and governance. No, you can understand very easily what is the meaning of globalizations as per this, UNDP definition. According to the UNDP definition, interdependence of the one countries and other countries in the sphere of culture, technology, and economy is called it as a globalization. Today, if you could see example, India is truly depends on any other country in terms of importing of technology. Similarly, and so many countries has also been depends on in terms of to exchanging of technology and all those things. So, however, the globalization has become a foremost important after 1990s. So, as it was defined by the many of like you can see IMF definitions also, you can also understand that and how IMF has defined the meaning of the globalization. So, what are the causes of the globalization? See, anything which need in order to come into the existence, there should be a lot of reasons. So, what are the reasons and as far as concerned to causes of the globalization? In that, the first reason is that international institutions such as the World Trade Organization or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development setting the rules for the world economy. And this was become, and according to the World Trade Organization, this has become one of the reasons. B, MNCs, multinational companies and changes in transportations and communications technologies that make it less costly to manage far-flung economic activities. The third one, key national actors and particularly the United States, central unto explaining the recent trend towards globalization. So all those things you could understand as in one of the reasons of that to bringing into the concept of the globalizations in India. So, however, these concept of the globalizations which also makes us to understand how MSCs has emerged. So, whenever you are and engaging with the a kind of economy between the one another country, definitely, and there may be a possibility to see a such kind of a companies exchange. Say, for example, today India is in the position in order to that requesting other companies to establish in India, such as you can see Apple company we have, which is an iPhone company, as well as we have an n number of manufacturing centers, and we made it such thing because of we need such kind of a and that an existence in India where it gives a lot of economy assistance to India. For that reason, many companies is also been established in India because of and in order to appease the economical system of the country. So here MNC's cultures has increased, like multinational companies, the companies of other countries such as you can see KFC we have, you can see iPhone we have, you can see there are n number of companies today you can see in India which is running its operations from India, where it is going to and provide a lot of employments to the people of India, which it results in a change the status of a economy of the country. So, however, and I mean to say, a political economy will help you to understand in the first unit how economy will help to the country's political system to be developed when you compare to the international political system. See, uh, in order to determine, in order to decide the development of the country, not only it plays the international relation, but also it plays a very important role to decide whether the country develop or whether underdeveloped, even for the reasons of this and economical status also. So, and how economical status will influence the political system of the country, how political system will influence us to the economy. So this both goes and each and hand in hand, where you cannot and divide them, isn't it? So another one and the unit four, if you could start that now, regional organizations. I said that in the beginning class. See, political economy is a chapter which make you to understand how economy is important to and understand the country's political system rather and world political system. So as I've said it, an economy is becomes the lifeblood of the country's political system, and it applies to every country, be it as an developed one, be it as an underdeveloped one, be it as an developing one, any strata of the country, and their economic system has to be and flourished better, so that it shall be decided in a proper way. Similarly, regional organizations, if you could see SARC and ASEAN, here you in your book, which give you to understand about an SARC and ASEAN. What has happened initially? There was North and North cooperation and South and South cooperation. Soon after, what has happened? There was a lot of dominations which was occurrence after the 1990s between developed countries and underdeveloped countries, which means, initially in the 1945, when we have seen this International Monetary Fund, the International Monetary Fund, this was a World Economic Institution, was established and for the main reasons to provide an economical assistance and suggestions to countries which are lowering in the economic status. Initially, it has worked, but as far as concerned to 1980s and 1990s, and the system of mechanism of IMF has rapidly gone through the changes. So where it has started to giving an assistance to only developed countries, and which have shown a kind of ignorance towards the underdeveloped countries. So what was happened that so if you could see on the world map, above the equator, all the countries are developed countries. You can see continents are countries or any other places on the world. And if you could see on the top of the equator on globe, you can see all of them are the developed one, isn't it? The countries which are in the below part of equator, such countries and in the they have the different natures, such as some of them are developing, some of them are not developed, which they are in the status of underdeveloping and all those things. So what was happened 1990s, despite to assisting to the developed to underdeveloped one, only the countries which are develop, they started to giving assistance to developed countries only. They were trying to, they have been started to ignoring the countries which are not developed. So in the 1980s, the new and connotations has been developed, such as discriminating between developed countries and underdeveloped countries. So in order to avoidance of such system and cooperation, 1970s and 1978 later, few countries have started to emerging as a regional organization. I'll tell you one example. Why the regional organizations have been set up. I'll tell you one reason here that before going to have discussion on SARC and another regional organization that is Asian. Are you all listening? Can you able to, listen my voice, everybody? Can you hear me, everybody? Is that my voice is audible to everyone? Okay. So, let us go to understand what is a SARC. See, SARC is a regional organization, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. What is a SARC? It was an abbreviated form in capital letter. You have to write it SAARC. S stands for South, A stands for Asian, another A stands for Association, for R stands for Regional, C stands for Cooperation. So South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. And these and regional organizations were set up in on 8th December 1985 by the heads of states and government of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. How many countries were part of this SARC? 8 countries were part of this and SARC. Once again, I'll repeat the names of them: Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka were part of it. And in the initially, no country like Afghanistan was part of it. But in 2007, Afghanistan became its eighth member country. All put together, it has become an 8 countries in the SARC member countries. Okay. So all the 8 countries put together have formed as a regional organization and has started to operating in after 1985. And you know that the observers are rather it has provided a mechanism along with the members. It also provided means the countries which are in a ring of SARC, those countries favor countries such as you can see Australia, China, the European Union, Iran, Japan, Mauritius, Myanmar, South Korea, and United States. All these countries must become a part of member countries to, observer countries to SARC. You would understand that one particular thing here. What is the difference between member country and observer country in the regional organization? In a two-member country, it has its every authority in order to cast its vote while taking up decisions. Whereas the observer country do not have an authority to cast its vote and to join in the decision making of and meetings of the regional organization. There is a major difference that you need to understand here is that. And as far as concerned to this, South Asian neighbors began to take initiative towards regional cooperation in Charter was formally in 8th December 1985. So as the initiative of SARC for the first time was, came out for the Ziaur Rahman of Bangladesh between 1970 and 1980. He paid visit to Nepal, Pakistan, India, and Sri Lanka to, that and concretize the idea of the cooperation among the South Asian neighbors. Several foreign secretary level meetings was followed by the first Soon after, many discussions was held it, and finally this has come into existence after 1985. What are the objectives of this arc, which is consist of it? And when regional organizations which were set up, and what actually this has plays a very important role. Once again, I'll repeat. SARC is a regional cooperation, which means the countries which are near and dear in the South Asian ring, those was become a part and parcel of the member. Okay, and such as I say, the member countries. So in the SARC, which facilitated two types of the people inside it. One is a member country, another one is an observer country. Both can be a part and parcel of the operational activities of this and SARC. But there is a quite a difference between the member and observer. Observer do not have any authority while taking of a decisions, but he can join. Whereas member country can join in the decision making process, he has an every right to cast its vote. That is a major difference that you need to understand. So now, what are the objectives of it? After establishment of this SARC, and it has an every and the thing to that and to represent it. So here that and how this works and what are the modus operandi of SARC. In the first one, the SARC regional organization to promote the welfare of the people of South Asia and improve their quality of life. SARC will focuses on mainly to provide the betterment of the people who are part of this Asian ring. And also it helps to provide a lot of an assistance between the one another country, which could help out to increase of its life expectancy, such as in the COVID time, the SARC, which got benefited much and much in order to providing in medical assistance to them. Like for example, India have provided a direct medical assistance to all the SARC countries, such as and providing an COVID vaccines to them and sending a COVID specialist doctors to these countries and to at least and helping out them, that and to a kind of treat them properly and to protect them. So all these and the things and helping hand is things which being a part of this and SARC, which India you could see in and up to the 2020 later how India has assisted to all these countries in terms of it. So the first point is that to promote welfare of the people of South Asia and to improve their quality of life. For that it works on. This is the first objective of this arc one need to understand properly. The second objective, if you could see, to promote and strengthen collective self and resilience among the countries of South Asia. And the countries, whatever the countries are part of the South Asia, there has to be an independent development. All the time, the country should not be developed and dependence. So they have to. This will provide and all the suggestions to that and how to develop themselves and all of the things, isn't it? So the next one to accelerate economic growth, special progress and cultural development in the region to provide an all individual the opportunity to live dignity and realize their full potentials. So this was the another objective of this arc. And the second, third, fourth, the fourth one to contribute to mutual trust, understanding and appreciations of one another's problems. The second, to promote active collaborations and mutual assistance in the economic, social, and cultural, technical, scientific field. To strengthen cooperation with other developing countries, the strengthen cooperating among the members and international forums and matters of common interest. To cooperate with international and regional organizations with similar aims and purpose, isn't it? So, as and one need to understand particularly how this has been started to working on each and everything, isn't it? So the objectives of this arc and overall which works on to welfare of the country, promote on all this and resilience development on them. It also strengthen and cooperation and it gives a lot of suggestions to that and how the member countries has to be worked promptly and towards the development of them, isn't it? So SARC, which works in a different thing, it conducts a summit. It convenes the summits and every year, and these summits, which is then presided by heads of the state and government, who meet annually at a summit level. Although the SARC, the charter requires the heads of the state government to meet once a year. The summits have generally taken place approximately for every 18 months, and 18 meetings of the head state and government have been held in Dhaka, the first summit which took place. This was then discussed about the recent developments among the peoples and everything. So it is consist of council of ministers also, comprising the foreign ministers and the member of states and responsible formulating the policies. In the council of ministers, all put together takes the decisions in order to how to formulate it. It also works an additional mechanism as deemed necessary, and it also works on completely to how to protect all the countries, and for that all the heads of the members was being a part and parcel of the members of the and this council of meetings. So it also consists of the standing committee. This standing committee comprises the foreign secretaries of member states. It entrusted with the task of the overall monitoring and coordination program and modalities of financing, determining intersectoral priorities, mobilizing the regional and everything that it gives an importance to them, isn't it? So similarly, if you could understand that in technical committees, other meetings also has been takes place, and moreover, the SARC has its own secretariat in order to keep proper operational mechanism. This secretariat was established in Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal. This was established on 16th January 1987. The most probably the role of the secretariat, if you could see, and it works on and it coordinates the implementation activities which are promised by the SARC to their own countries, isn't it? So SARC has its own finances, and the member states make provision in their regional budget, national budgets, for financing activities and programs under the SARC framework, including contributions to the and modalities of financing, as well as it gives a lot of suggestions to the country to how to develop and technically how to develop economically as a part of this SARC. So this and all those things which we have understands about in SARC and everything. Let us go on Asian. Another regional organization as per your syllabus is that Asian. What does it mean Asian stands for? A stands for Asian. This Asian and you know uh, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. A stands for association. S stands for South. E stands for East. A stands for Asian. N stands for nations. Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and was established in the year of 19 67. Since then the membership has expanded. Now it stands at 10 countries are being a members of Asian. The Sultanate of Brunei joined in 1984. Vietnam was joined on 8th July 1985. Along with Gozan, some other countries are being a part and parcel of this nation. So, what are the objectives of the Asians, and when it starts in modus operandi? How this works on that to develop this ring of the countries? So, if you see the Asian, this focuses on its ring of the countries, such as I said it, and how many countries are part of this Asian at presently. You would see there are 10 countries of being a part of this Asian, which is most probably Asian countries, which is in southeast part of the Asian continent. All these countries are being a part and parcel of this, and what it actually how it works to them, how it works on to develop it to them, so that you need to understand the objectives of that. The first objective, if you could understand, according to Asian, is that to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region. The second one, if you could see, to promote regional peace and stability. So this will work and closely that to always how to make the betterment of the system and all of that, isn't it? So what you need to understand here is that and how South countries and Eastern countries has to be developed. For that, and there are objectives. The first one is that to accelerate the economic growth, and which I've said it to promote regional peace and equality. The third objective you could understand that to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in the economic, social, cultural, technical, scientific, and administrative fields. You would understand that and how Asian is helping the countries, those who are members of it. Economically, they are assisting. Technologically, they are assisting. And similarly, it is also assisting to the countries, especially in the fields of economy, technology, culturally, and every aspects. So you would understand that and how regional organizations which focuses on the development of them. So as far as concerned to here is an Asian, you can see the objectives and which all work for the development of the member countries. Similarly, how this Asian works. Asian has a permanent secretariat with its headquarters in Jakarta. It is a capital city of Indonesia. The secretariat was set up for the first time in the year of 1976. The highest decision-making organ of the Asian, um, you know, um, is a secretariat of this Asian. Okay. So similarly, what you need to understand here is that exactly, Organization of Asian consists of ministerial conference, as similar to the SARC, how it works and how it goes and models operandi and everything. The ministerial conference is composed of the foreign ministers of the member states. The conference holds periodical consultations with regard to military and other matters relating to the area. Generally, its meetings are held annually in each country by rotation. The standing committee meets with necessary between ministerial meetings for consultation. During the first few years of an existence in the Asian, made little progress towards my substantial regional cooperation. However, after 1975, Asian underwent transformation and it really began to move. It not only to developing of the countries, but also it works on different aspects where taking all the member countries to be developed as quickly as possible. So this was two regional organizations that we have discussed. And the second, Unit 5, if you could see, these regional organizations, which are EU and which is an European Union and BRICS. Okay, so let us will discuss what is EU. Okay, EU stands for European Union. How would you understand there's an EU in the sense, please? 1 second. Yeah, sure, definitely. Thank you for the response. And definitely, I'll be a little louder. You know, the EU, what is the EU here? You need to understand. EU is a something European Union. Okay. See, how do you understand this concept EU means? You know, I said in the just now, SARC as well as an Asian. These all the regional organizations were set up by incorporating of all the Asian group countries. Now, there is a culture of establishment of the regional organizations have been begin even in the European continent also. Earlier, Asian as well as to the SARC, which we have seen in the ring often only and in Asian continent. The culture of the and this a kind of uh, regional organization setup, which have also begun in this European Union. So the first example which I could help you that in order to helping each other, especially to the countries which are belongs to European continent, they have started in this one. The European Union is a resultant of numerous treaties that were signed by more than a score of states Europe. And most probably, near about in 30 plus countries was part and parcel of the European Union, and which they come forward to help each other, especially in terms of economically. So this and no exclusive European Union, which was formed on the Maastricht Treaty, and which was took place in the year of 1992. According to the Maastricht Treaty, which led to the creation of European Union, was signed on 7 February 1992. The agreement invested the European community with the broader authority, which included formal control of the community policies and education. So this exclusively focuses on to the development of an education among the European countries, as well as these EU, which was established on the focus on to focus on development, as well as at the same time consumer protection and public health. It also gave the European community to increase the role in social, economic, and cohesion. So these are all the things which gives you an exactly to how to develop and as quickly as possible. So if you could see structure and composition, here is that European Parliament, European Council, European and Union, all these things is being a part and parcel of the compositions. It is its own central bank. These central bank, which and economical assistance to the member countries, those who are being a part and parcel of the and EU members, isn't it? So that you need to understand all of that. So it has an capacity, it has a kind of an identity which followed the euro currency. Like if any country which is being an assisted to any other country part of the EU members, they will give you an assistance in terms of euro currency. Like there are 19 countries of the eurozone. After US dollar, it is the most widely used currency in the forex trading. After the dollar, it is also second most widely held foreign exchange reserve by the central banks. The European Central Bank is the one which is associated with the managing the euro. The management of the euro is uncomplicated because it is and being shared by 19 countries, those are being members of the European Union. So that you need to understand the working nature of that. What are the objectives of this in most probably EU? And it mostly focuses on to promote the peace and the well-being of the citizens of European Union, and it also focuses on the established an economic union and have a common currency of euro. And the third an objective, if you could understand, they offer the citizens of European Union and freedom, justice, and security without any internal borders, and also controlling the external borders. And this will help out to protecting of entirely and the members of the European countries. Next, we'll go to the BRICS. What does it mean, BRICS? The B stands for Brazil, R stands for Russia, and you know that an I stands for India, C stands for China, and S stands for South Africa. See, all these five countries put together Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all these countries put together have formed as a one more regional organization, which is called it as a BRICS. Okay. So the BRICS is an informal group of states which is formed of five states located in four different continents. They are the and Federated Republic of Brazil in South America, the Russian Federation in Europe, the Republic of India and Peoples of Republic China located in Asian continent, and South Africa located in African continent. So all these countries in a different continent have formed together to and develop economically to assist each other. This was basically have started in 20th September in 2006. The UN General Assembly sessions in the New York, the proposal of Russian President Vladimir Putin have put forward to bringing of the BRICS. So the BRICS summit, the first, if you could see, Ekaterinburg, this was the one of the towns of Russia, and 16th June in 2009, the first summit which have took place. The 12th summit, if you could see, by 2020, the Vladimir Putin, which was chaired by this session. So this and recently also BRICS session, which have held it and that. So where you need to focus on current data. So, what are the objectives of this BRICS to establishment of it? So, the first one, if you could see, to seek the creation of just and legitimate international system, which means to run the international system very, legitimizely to and helping out in each and every country those who are part of it, and this was established, isn't it, to promote south and south cooperation, because most probably on the world and the south countries only in the status of developing. You can see the north and north countries already it's been developed. I said just now, the countries in the world which are above the equator, which are a developed one. The countries which are below the equator, those are developing or underdeveloping countries, isn't it? So as and the specifically the BRICS, which gives an 100% assistance to South and South countries to eliminate its a problem and develop as quickly as possible, and to strive for reform the United Nations Security Council, and to act as a bridge between the developing and developed countries, to encourage the developing countries to take advantage of New Development Bank, which is an established NDB. NDB stands for New Development Bank. This is a bank which actually, you know, that in um, uh, uh, help out and financial assistance to the countries which are underdeveloped. So all these regional organizations which you could see for the reasons of development of each other, this was an established, which where we have discussed about on all these regional organizations that you need to understand. The next unit 6, if you could see, issues of global concern and energy and environment. This is a very, very important topic where you need to understand exactly how the issues and environment and ecology. You know, in a political system, everyone need to understand in this chapter not only I said that economy which influences to the political system of the country or international political system, but also environment and ecology is also to plays a major role to influencing the country's international political system in such a way. If you see, issues of global concern are so named because of their impacts of damages and affect only to the countries cause of the problem. Like today in the world, whole world is suffering from problems of environment and ecology today. You know, temperatures are increasing, temperatures are suddenly falling down. There were no gradual changes at all, and a kind of the concept of this environment and ecology tomorrow we'll discuss. If you have any doubt regarding the so far what we have discussed about a regional organization, you can ask me. I'll give you the just 4 minutes of the time to take your doubts and to focuses on your doubts and to understand. I'll also understand that whether you are following or not. Okay. You can ask the doubt. So far, what we have discussed about in BRICS and Asian and you know that in SARC, all this European Union, all these regional organizations. You can ask questions. Okay. You can also type in the box. I can check it out and I'll give you the answer for that. I'll be waiting here after the 4 minutes to listen your doubts. Okay. definitely explain to you. Okay. See, unit one, which the name of the is International Economic Cooperation. See how the international economic cooperations has emerged. First, you need to understand. It is somewhat different to understand the political side, but you need to understand. The main aim of this chapter is that how a country's political system influences on the basis of economical status. Okay. Today, America is influencing the political system of many other. Okay. So this first will make you to understand how the status of economy of the countries and how it is important. Today, United States of America is in a position to influence any other country. I think you might have seen how Afghanistan was controlled by USA, how Pakistan is controlling by USA, how even Israel, how other countries are influencing. Because this economically, if any country has been strengthened, definitely the country has in foremost importance to change it. So, what you understand here is that in international cooperation, which is that here you will understand how each and every country start helping each other economically. In the first unit, what you will understand means how one country to another country helping each other economically. In what way they will help out each other in the sense means in terms of trade. Okay. For example, there are a lot of things, a lot of methods to trading. For example, trade agreement. India, Bangladesh. If you could see the trade agreement, Bangladesh is very famous in producing of jute. I think everybody knows the jute. Next, India is very famous in order to producing of rice. So rice we do export to such country. In the place of that, we do import the jute to back to India. So it's a kind of an agreement which is facilitating to do a betterment of both the countries. So it's a kind of an economical cooperation between them. How the trade has become the economical cooperation in the service? See, India is very nearer to Bangladesh. Bangladesh, obviously, it's a border of India. So if you do not take a jute from Bangladesh, we should purchase from some other. When you purchase something from other country, what it happens, you need to pay more money. But if you pay and if you start business with the immediate countries, such as from border country, it would be a lesser an investment to you in order to import. Like the distance will be less comparatively to other countries and all of that. So in keeping in view of that, whatever they need and they do import, whatever we need, we do and export. So in keeping in view of that, what it happens in the sense is it's kind of a money saving. So these money saving also would help out the countries to establish the better international political system. So economically, there is an agreement between one another country, which is gives a chance and scope to both the countries to having a better relationship between them. It's a one kind of an idea. Where you can see in your book types of integrations like free trade area, custom union, common market system we do, and political union and economic union and all of that. So only connotation what you need to understand here is that economically and the countries will have the relations between one another. These economic relations also will find the political system of the both and the first unit regarding it. As far as concerned to second unit, which focuses on that, in order to promote the relation between the one another country, the many countries have started to development of regional organizations. Okay. So ఒక దగ్గర ఉన్నటువంటి అందరు కంట్రీస్ ఒక ఫామ్ అయి ఒక గ్రూప్ ని తయారు చేసుకుని వాళ్ళు ఎకనామిక్ గా అసెస్ చేయడం అనేది ప్రారంభించారు అన్నమాట. సో దాంట్లో ఆల్ రీజనల్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సార్క్ ఉంది, బ్రిక్ ఉంది, EU ఉంది, అండ్ ఆల్ దిస్ థింగ్ యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్. హోప్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ ఆస్ ద డౌట్ అండ్ ఐ కెన్ గివ్ యూ అ లిటిల్ బ్రీఫ్. ఓకే, anything else the doubt to ask little more regarding that? You can also see the recorded classes of the same this thing so that you can understand what